No, don't go away. We are here. Some of you may have said, I think you better tune off. I don't think he's there. No, we're here. Yes. BATJAC J.W. here, and you were tuned in, right? It's been a while. It's been a while on this channel. I haven't gotten to, just been trying to make videos and keep production going. Always trying to get some ideas to do things. As good old Santee from Arizona Ghost Riders, I'm sure, thinks about that all the time. What's going to be the next idea? What is the next video that we are going to do? So, yes. Drinking some iced tea because it has been rather hot out in the desert out here. Yes. Who would have thunk it? Hot in the desert. We are peaking at well over 100 degrees out now. So it's definitely getting to that time. Unfortunately, the heat closes down the outside places to shoot because of the fire watch. So they won't let us out there. But I had recently posted up a video that, for those of you that have been on my Patreon, have already saw some time ago. And I do thank everybody that has gone over to Patreon and supported the channel there. It is greatly appreciated. Things try to help keep this channel going and everything. So one of the things we're in dire need of is a camera. Definitely in dire need of it. I've been searching through Amazon because it seems like that's the only place to get one now, as they're becoming kind of almost obsolete, and it's because I don't really have a way to properly do editing or anything like that on my home front. So using my cell phone, it's all usually one take, where I like to do stuff, just small clips of things here and there. And I definitely wanted to get back into the vlogging and stuff like that for you folks here, because I know that is kind of what a lot of you have been interested in and seeing. So, and I know some people may not get this channel. They have ventured over to check it out, and they may not like it, or they may like it. Some of you guys that have been here, I know you really enjoy the channel, so I appreciate it. Again, some people just they just don't, which is fine. That is a-okay. It's not for everybody. Sometimes some things people like, and some things just people don't, which is fine. That's what makes it all neat. So you don't have to be stuck to it. You can always watch something else or listen to something else, right? But no, I do appreciate those that are here listening and tuned in. So it's been going good. Been trying to keep everything going, working a lot, but then also doing some off things and projects in the wind. Hopefully I'm phrasing that right, but upcoming things that we're doing that you guys can look forward to. And those of you that have been with the channel for a long time, especially these vlogs, you will be getting excited, hopefully, here with the news I'm going to be breaking to you momentarily here. Wait for it. Okay, I'll break the news. I've been joining forces with good old Dirty Dan. And if you don't know who old Dirty Dan is, Dirty Dan, I guess you have not really been watching the Arizona Ghost Riders. But Dirty Dan's a really good fella that Santee introduced me to. So him and I have been joining forces in some projects. some things on the side that we've been doing, and of course I've been trying to do projects here too, which included some giveaway stuff that I was going to do, and bracelets and such. I found out that it's not easy to go at this alone, because you're only a one-man operation, and it can get difficult to stay on top of things. So Dirty Dan and I have joined forces on producing some stuff, and one of those things is bringing back the BATJAC J.W. grips, bringing back those aged synthetic ivory-looking grips that I have shared the story many times of my adventures in doing so. Something that took me 3 years in the making to figure out how to do it on my own and figure it out. So I have actually now opened doors with Dan, and we are going to be coming up on our production on them, and we are going to be investigating that. Now, this is still the very early stages of those projects, so we're still working into it. We have not even made a set yet, so we're still trying to put everything together. It's not cheap to do these things. They require a lot of patience, a lot of money that you have to kind of put together. I don't even like to know how much money I've literally, pun intended here, poured out doing this, trying to figure this stuff out. Gallons and gallons of stuff wasted just trying to do this. So him and I are trying to get started on it. We've already invested quite a bit of money out of Dan's pocket, out of my pocket, trying to do this. So we'll see. And also, it's going to be nice to see what Dan comes up with as far as ideas and such heading into that direction. I've been getting messages, a lot of messages right here on the tube, and people say, hey, how do I get a set of those grips? What do I do? And quite frankly, it's just because in the inventory we don't really have a lot. Santee has got some of the leftover products that I had left over, which was only a few pairs. He has those, and I've only got some that are on my gun, and prototypes that, well, not many get to see. If you kind of dig back through the inventory on videos on this channel here, I'm sure they popped up here or there at some point, but they remain unseen for the most part. There were a lot of prototypes that I was tinkering around with for myself. And again, back in the story of the grips, I never intended to do those grips as something to sell. Now, I know that some of you actually own a pair because you've contacted me and decided to purchase a pair, which I thank you very much, because that right there sent it full circle for me in being, that was pretty crazy to thought, well, here was a wild idea that I thought of, and to have gained all of that knowledge on it, to come for it to culminate to selling a set. That's pretty cool, and it's kind of unique and sentimental to me in a way, because that's if it wasn't for those grips, I wouldn't have met Santee. And I remember just kind of seeing his comment come through every now and then on my channel, and he discovered my channel by those grips. That's kind of it. So I became really good friends with him by selling him a set, and then him and I just kind of, and it's kind of strange to have traveled all the way out from an island out to the desert to meet somebody that was only just a profile picture on YouTube and a comment. And that's what's kind of neat about this whole YouTube game, is there's a lot of you that I feel that if we ever cross paths, flesh to flesh, it would be pretty amazing. I think I got a lot of really good subscribers, a lot of real genuine people, and it really gives me hope to the the world out there that yes, there are actually still really, really good people that exist. And I don't mean to sound like a doom and gloom or on a bad way or anything like that, but yeah, just throughout time, you just feel like there's so much deception within things. You walk carefully. You're very careful. And I tell you, people like Santee and whatnot that I've met, and Dan, it's really, it makes you feel like I'm riding with the best. And I don't ever take that for granted, and that goes for a lot of you guys too. I know a lot of you subscribers. Again, I will say that I'm sure if we ever cross paths, I'm sure there's all of you are the same way. And I feel like there's a lot of you that I know very well, although we've never met, because there's a lot of you that has been subscribing to me and been subscribing to me for a long time, and have been there and have been supporting me for a long time. And so I thank you for being there, and it's really cool. There's quite a bit of you. On the Patreon page, again, it's really nice to see and read comments from you guys from Patreon. That's really cool. I mean, for a lot of you that have gone to that extent to follow me on Patreon, there's a lot of you. Of course, Joe P has followed me on over there. Lion Quest Fitness, Bob Hartman, and again, like for instance, like Bob, you sent me a bottle of Ballistol, and now Ballistol is my only gun oil I really go to. Of course, I've been testing out the Wilson Combat Gun Grease, but no way would that ever replace Ballistol. But it's just, amazing. And there's so many of you that have sent me things, and it's not about the monetary stuff or anything, but it's really cool, and I like to give back to everybody. 454 Packer has sent me an amazing 1911 thing, and there's just so much products and stuff that I've gotten through YouTube as gifts, and as stuff for test and evaluation, or just to support the channel. Badman Bullets was one of them. Badman Bullets, I've always purchased stuff from him, and I feel bad because I've lost contact with him since I moved out to the desert, and I should contact him again and just thank him. But he had supplied the channel with numbers, boxes upon boxes of bullets for me to load up and to provide you guys with shooting videos. Just because money is it's hard to keep funding this channel. It's hard to keep trying to do this, especially when things start breaking down. Cameras, equipment, lighting, backdrops, just products to review. I wish that's why as many guns as I can get for free to photograph, I do so, because I don't have the collection to fund it. I don't. I've sold and traded off so much things that I just don't have what I used to have. Most of it's just because I've been moving out to Arizona and whatnot. It's become baggage. It's become stuff that I needed to get rid of to hopefully alleviate some of the weight that is, could possibly hold me down in one spot in case I needed to jump ship and go. So I needed to get rid of some things. So again, like the people on Patreon, I got JSS Haas, Yeah, of course, Lion Quest Fitness, as I mentioned, Stan Konov, he's been on there too. So it's just been really neat. And I will, this video, or this audio here insert will also be posted on Patreon. So I know there's some of you there that will be, listening and whatnot. So again, I thank everybody that has actually put some of their own hard-earned money into my Patreon page. That I really appreciate. You don't need to do that, but I know that there's so many of you that did, and I wanted to say I really appreciate that. And I just I wish the funding and the little bit of cash that we were once getting from YouTube to help with things. I wish we were still getting them, but it's okay. We just keep working and we keep trucking along here, and I just try to scrape by and get some money going until I can pay for some things that I need for the channel, such as a camera. But I want to make sure, because I'm careful about my spending because of paying for the just expensive life expenses. You got a place to live and all that. So I got to play the game rather close and not put myself under. So I got to be real careful of that. I think we all know that very well. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get on to some fun stuff instead of. I picked up some of these, and I picked them up. I came across them. They're magazines. They're old vintage magazines. Some of them are pretty far back, and they're kind of neat because I think they're like a real cool throwback idea. And I've been thinking about doing a thing where going through them and just kind of like a throwback video. And I got quite a few of them, so I wanted to kind of go through them and kind of go through them almost on video. It would be the very first time really going through them, but it's kind of neat. I got this, most of them are guns and ammo, but again, like I got one here. It says October 1984, and where the thing actually costs $1.75. These things are so expensive now, but it's got where they're reintroducing stuff like for the very first time to see like the Colt 45 ACP officers model. First look at it, so that's kind of cool when you see that kind of stuff. It really, this is all the stuff I'm really interested in seeing, and I just kind of cheated and looked through this thing right now and seeing what I can see, and it's kind of neat when you can really just go back to that time, and here's a guy with he's showing off a Colt Mark IV Gold Cup 1911. And right there on the desk is a Colt Python. And it's just cool stuff like that you don't really get to see anymore, or where back in that time it was kind of a norm to see it and advertise it. So it's kind of neat. And there's a World War II commemorative M1 Garand, which is cool because I wonder if they actually manufactured these for a short time, and I just don't get it. Why doesn't Springfield Armory make it? I would. Why are we limited to where we can't get them? So we only can get what is out there, the vintage ones, and hopefully they're still good and in working condition. And I've had one where the barrel needed to be redone, so. It's just, I guess it is what it is, but it's kind of neat. Here you can see there's even some blank firing little pistols that shoot these little blank caps. That's kind of cool. And you can send away for a pineapple hand grenade, vintage stuff like that you just can't really get anymore. So that's really cool. Advertisement for Super Lube, the ultimate gun lube. Copenhagen. This is kind of a neat Lucky Strike cigarettes. They got some stuff here for Vietnam. I've always been look at all these products. These are kind of cool. The rig rod. That's like a cleaning rod. There it is. The page of Colt's officer model check it out. Officer's model, pocket size carry 45. They're really cool, and they got a couple here listed, a couple government models. Boy, those are so sexy. I tell you, there's something about the beautiful just government model here. Here's a picture of it. Looks like they got the barrel on that is kind of fluted up on the muzzle end, which I don't like. I'm not a fan of that at all. I don't like to make it. I don't like cosmetics for me is aesthetics is pretty big. So when I see something like that, it might look just kind of goofy. It kind of turns me off from it. But it is kind of a neat pistol. It's very collectible, I'm sure, especially those old vintage ones. I love the grips. I love seeing that walnut checkered grips with the medallion in there. Of course, they're advertising some Remington rifles there. Semi-auto rifles is pretty neat. Holland's 375 big bore. Do a bit of that and show some hand loading in that. That's cool. Some advertisement for black powder stuff. It's kind of neat too. This is the stuff that really interests me. A lot of these old vintage things. Oh, look at that! A full engraved Walther PPK. Nice looking ivory grips on there. Really dressed up. It's cool stuff. It really is. And as you get to the rear of the magazine, the end there, a lot of it is just advertisement stuff. You got some advertisement for some Ruger revolvers, some vintage ones, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, let you guys get on out of here. But wow, look at that. Look at this, kind of neat. Pellet. I guess they're pellet guns. So even then, I guess this was it. They're looking at some. I guess these are pellet guns. That's what they're saying. But yep, 22 caliber pellet firing target weapons. That's the way they list it. It's kind of cool. Not sold in New York City. Nope. So I guess even then they couldn't really send it to New York maybe. So it kind of gives you an idea. And even for a magazine dated '84, they were still battling that even then. That's cool. Cool replicas. They have replicas there. That's really cool. I wish those were still available, because that'd be neat. $40. Get a really cool replica. Use it for movies, movie making. That's what we've been doing. Yeah, that's kind of neat. It's kind of neat to see a lot of these old things still, the advertisement for them. There's an ad here. Counterfeit guns, metal replicas. Get a government GI 45 the way they used to look. That's kind of cool. Too bad those aren't available anymore. I'm sure they're worth money. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. And you guys have a good one.